Hello and welcome everyone to the Break Time Podcast. Here we just kind of chill and talk about whatever interests us. We'll start somewhere and see where it takes us. I have a topic today, by the way. I'm Ryan, and as always, I'm joined by my two good friends, Jake and Eric. They're my friends.
That's
and
pretty
like
cool.
them.
I am
good.
honored you called me your friend after I called you an individual last
You did
recording.
not call us your friends last time, and it made me really, really mad. So I'm going to affirm that you are my friend, so maybe you will reciprocate the friendship back towards me instead of being all like, these people are people.
Sure thing, friend. Sure thing.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we're all friends. We're all friends.
We
right?
are. We are friends. We are indeed friends here.
Pretty cool, dude.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's see. I kind of have a topic that is on brand with one of the things that we do, but before we get to that, how is everyone doing on this fine day? The second Saturday that we recorded on our little schedule. How's everyone doing?
Oh yeah, 2 recordings in a row for making progress.
Yes, we are.
Today was
I'm
great.
doing great, just chilling.
This week was pretty chill because we had a 3-day weekend last week, which means only 4 days of work this week.
A holiday.
It was quite nice. I went to one of those, I don't know what to call those restaurants. It's like either you see it in Korean or Japanese restaurants where they have a grill on the table.
Hibachi.
Yeah,
They
like
give you
a-
raw meat and you can grill the meat
I
by
don't
yourself.
think it's like a hibachi kind of thing.
No, hibachi is when there's like, you have like your own personal chef and there's just a
Yeah, and the
giant
person
grill in front of
performs
you.
for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Well, that's
and
what
they
you're
cook
saying.
everything for you.
No, I think this is where it's like one of those Japanese or Korean barbecue places where there's the grill in the center of the table and you cook the food yourself.
Oh yeah, Korean barbecue.
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah, it's
Like
delicious.
Gyukaku is the Japanese one that's pretty famous.
Yeah, I just went there. I went there today.
You went to Gyukaku today?
Yeah, I just did, like for lunch today. It was pretty good.
What did you get?
I went with my family, so I got the 3-person. I forget the name of the meal, but it was like a meal. It was like $120, and it was designed for 3 people.
Ah.
Like they start you off with a bunch of appetizers.
Oh, that's right.
Some corn with melted cheese on it. I never thought something like that would taste so good. Awesome.
It is pretty good. Did you know that there's actually, segueing, well, not, kind of like a similar thing. Did you know that there is like a very famous Filipino ice cream flavor called corn and cheese?
Corn and cheese.
I'm questioning this very famous, thanks.
No, I guess it's more like it's famous or it's popular amongst the Filipino community.
Yeah, if
Corn
it's
and
famous,
cheese.
why have I not heard of it before?
I am half, so I am well acquainted with it. I've never tasted it because I thought, no, that's gross. But I've seen people eat it, and I just sit and wonder as to why people are willing to eat corn and cheese ice cream.
In awe of the power of corn and cheese ice cream.
However, barbecued corn and cheese is indeed quite good at like a gyukaku place.
That was quite good. I agree. They also served us s'mores for dessert because we technically did have an open fire in front of us. And my dad does not know what a s'more is.
Really?
He's never known what a s'more is. He didn't know that those are the kind of things you'd eat like when you go out camping, like in front of a campfire or whatever. He just ate the marshmallow without cooking it.
I see.
Did he finish one? And then you asked him, hey, you want some more?
No.
He missed
That's
his
the
chance.
essential
That's my
one. That's how you
chance.
teach him the 100% of the
That's my
s'more
chance.
lore.
Yeah. You want some more?
Yeah, dude.
That's very interesting. The thing is that I never went. I went to like I don't know what I would call it. That week-long trip that I don't know if you guys took a week-long trip in like 6th grade where you go to like some park in the mountains and just stay there for a week.
Oh,
That's
wait,
wild. I
had
never did that.
Really?
Mine was
'Cause
in
that's like a-
5th grade.
You went to a similar place?
Yeah, ours was called science camp. We went on like a week-long excursion in the mountains somewhere, like a little mountain camping area. And it was 5th grade for me, not 6th grade.
Yeah, so It was like the big sixth grade trip that everyone talked about in our elementary school. I don't know if they do it now. I haven't, of course, because I haven't been in elementary school in years, but it was a it was a well-known trip. Everyone was always excited for it. And why did I mention this again? I just completely forgot why. Oh, s'mores, that's
Yeah,
right.
s'mores. Did you have s'mores in the
s'more?
park?
I actually I did not have an actual s'more. But the thing is that I knew what s'mores were before I even went there. And it's not like I went camping. I'm pretty sure I just saw them on TV and I'm like, that sounds good. Why would that not be good? And so instead of roasting them over an open campfire, I kind of just turned on the stove. Or, no, sorry, as a child. So someone else turned on the stove and toasted the marshmallows over the gas stove for me. Either that or we used the microwave. But at Slight Park, we didn't have s'mores, but we did roast marshmallows. One of the actual activities was it was late at night. Also, it's in the mountains, so it's really cold. But they had like a campfire, and our task was to find a stick to skewer a marshmallow with. We had to use an actual stick that we find in the woods.
Nice.
Or the wooded area around us.
That's great.
Yeah, I was questioning it because I don't know if this is sanitary, but at the same time, it's in the middle of mountains. The only thing that resembles a civilization is this camp. So I'm assuming that for the most part things are relatively clean despite being a stick.
Oh yeah, I mean, just the sheer amount of, plant pulp and pollen you inhale while being in the mountains is nothing compared to one bite of a stick,
Yeah, and
You're just constantly doing it.
Yeah, and most likely, you never even ate any stick because you would just, pull the marshmallow off with your teeth or something,
Yeah.
and then you would just not eat the marshmallow that just stuck on the stick.
Yeah, it's
would
not
just
really
be
a
stuck on the
big
stick.
problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Wood is pretty edible.
it is.
I remember my science camp trip in 5th grade really really messed someone up. There was one part, I think it was near one of the final weeks, where we were outside during the night. And they gave us like little tiny lifesavers, like those hard candies.
Yeah.
And like when you bit into them, they would glow in the dark. I don't know where you could find these, or I don't know if they still exist, but when you bit into these candies, they glowed in the dark. And the camp
really cool.
Yeah,
Really?
and the camp instructor told us that these were moon rocks. Reminder, we're still in 5th grade, so we're like all super gullible.
You're just munching on some moon rocks, man.
So she told us these were moon rocks because they glow in the dark when you bite it.
So,
So a group of kids had a great idea to go. Like after we were done with that, we were heading back to our little cabins. A group of like 2 or 3 kids in my room, in my shared cabin, decide to go outside hunting for rocks. And they would bring back
gotta find
all
more
the
moon
rocks.
rocks.
Yeah, we gotta find more moon rocks. They would find a bunch of rocks and each take turns biting it to see if it would glow in the dark.
okay.
Broke teeth.
Yeah, it's gonna ruin their teeth, but I don't think they bit it too hard. But it really messed them up. They seriously thought they were like hunting for moon rocks.
My God, this is why you don't lie to kids or you try to play pranks on them, because you might end up harming them more than just suspending their sense of disbelief or something. Suspending their disbelief. That's the phrase.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, I think it's still not that bad because their teeth's gonna fall out anyways and grow new ones.
I don't know. In 5th grade, I'm not sure if I had. I'm pretty sure in 5th grade I might have had adult teeth by then.
Really? I feel like I still had maybe like half left. Half my baby teeth, half adult.
Well, the thing is that the first adult teeth to come in are usually your front teeth. So if people are biting into rocks,
Munch.
those might be their adult teeth that they're biting into, or that they're using to bite into these rocks, and they run the risk of breaking them.
Crunchy.
Crunchy. I would be surprised if anyone's even able to actually break a rock with their teeth.
There's some pretty soft rocks out there.
There are. Like limestone. Limestone is commonly advertised as a soft mineral rock. Yeah, it's categorized as being soft. I don't
There are
know what makes a
communities of
rock
people
soft.
who eat small amounts of clay.
That makes well clay. That makes sense because that's straight up. That's very soft.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't. That's a. It's very odd. To it's. I don't know. I feel like there's a bit of responsibility that needs to be taken for making kids bite rocks.
Anyways, what was the topic again?
Oh yeah,
We're going back
it's
to
fine,
last.
It's fine. It's fine.
We're going back
This
to
is-
last week's topic.
We are. Oh yeah.
we did
Childhood
elementary school.
Elementary
last week.
school stories. It's elementary, my dear. You like that title? I came up with it. I thought it was kind of fun.
Wait a
that's
minute, the
fascinating.
kid should have known the difference. That the moon's made of cheese, not rocks, Fivehead.
Well, no, I think that kids at that point would know that it's made of rock, and then they would be more interested. I think they're at that point where it's like where you can understand it's rock, but that's still cool.
See right through it. They know it's Swiss cheese, man.
I don't know.
Why they still go out fighting rocks? I don't understand.
I'm pretty sure when I was a kid, I knew that the moon was not cheese very early on. I did not. That was not a thing that I thought for a long time. I don't understand why people think of these things.
I thought the first time I was introduced to the idea that the moon was made of cheese was in the cartoon somewhere. I think it was one of the Looney Tunes one. But
That's possible.
I can't quite remember which one.
I was told pretty early that the moon was made of a rock, and I had the conception that, like any rock, if it ended up really high, would just be like another moon, and only one rock was that high.
That makes sense. I would totally think that as a kid as well. Although my other thing was that, if you watched last episode, humble viewers, valued viewers, beautiful viewers,
I thought you were gonna say customers.
customers, they're not paying us shit for this. We're doing this of our own accord. We're doing a different thing that they're gonna have to buy. Anyway, no, but, last episode, remember the meteor thing with the petrified poop? Well, that was kind of what I was thinking.
Alright, you make. I
what
guess anything that
happens.
goes high and then low is a meteor.
You're gonna talk about poop again?
No, we're not. We hardly talked about it last time. It was only my story. Y'all didn't start talking about poop. You just started talking about like your childhood things. We're not talking about poop.
Hey, Earth butthole.
Don't get excited.
The
Damn.
Earth's butthole and the Earth pooping. I contributed.
Stop. Okay, you know what okay, this small talk has gone on long enough. I don't think we need to go any further. Time to just introduce my topic instead of going down this line of whatever the hell this is.
What a party pooper.
I refuse to humor it. I don't want to go down this road. This is leading to places that are gross. Because remember how I regretted saying Earth's butthole immediately after saying it? So we're not saying, we're stopping here. Anyway, now to today's little topic that I kind of wanted to discuss with y'all, if you guys have opinions on it, because I don't know. I have a little bit. I thought it'd be fun to discuss. But, a couple days ago, at Sony's PlayStation State of Play event, a certain thing was announced that is kind of relevant and something that we might like, possibly. They showed off gameplay of the new Street Fighter game, Street Fighter 6. I don't know. I showed the trailer, one of the trailers, a really low quality version of the trailer in the Discord.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys, I know that Jake probably watched it. I'm not sure if Eric watched it.
I don't think I have, but I've heard that the game looks way more realistic compared to its previous versions.
It does. It's still stylized, but the characters are rendered in a very more photorealistic than they've ever looked in the past. It's still like stylized realism. Like I would say it's on the point. It's on a similar level as say Yakuza characters that aren't scanned in actors. Kind of around that. But yeah, Eric watched the trailer, I guess, and we'll start discussing or something like that. Because I have some stuff. I have some things that I just want to have a discussion about this. It's like a current event, and where it's like God, I hate those kinds of videos where it's like someone who should have credibility on the subject reacts to X thing. Like, musician reacts to Devil May Cry Virgil's...
3 Americans react to Ken.
Yeah, like, musician reacts to piece of music that people think is good. Or
Guy
doctor
with hair
reacts
reacts to haircut.
Yeah, or I don't know. I think it's more like if barber reacts to haircut would be more on point, or like doctor reacts to Mortal Kombat X-rays.
Janitor reacts to dirt.
Okay, I'm looking at the trailer now,
Yeah,
and they're having like an open world aspect of it.
yeah.
Is what I'm understanding.
Yes, and it's like I think it's partially like the online lobby, and there's also like a single player, some kind of
They're
adventure
inspired by
campaign
fighters.
thing. Possibly. The thing about fighters is that it did have an open lobby, or a what would you call that? An explorable lobby. But it did not have like a world that you can explore that is a part of like. It isn't an extra game mode. The story in Fighters is literally just like it was some kind of map, and you go to different places, you fight bosses, and characters have interactions based on whatever teams you have and such.
Yeah, if they're showing in the trailer here, like part of the open world aspect, like I can see a character, maybe a character you can make yourself.
Yeah,
like
I think
running
that's what it
around
looks like.
the environment. Like this looks like a Chinese area right here. He's like climbing ladders and destroying objects in the environment.
With the Shoryuken, yeah.
Yeah, so it seems to be like it could possibly be like its own game mode, but
I'm pretty sure it is. It's called. I think in the trailer they call it World Tour mode, so that's it's like a separate mode. To be honest, if I was to pick up Street Fighter 6, which is a big if, because I don't know, I might gauge it because I'm not exactly after Street Fighter 5, which I bought day one. I'm kind of more wary about it. The other thing is that money doesn't grow on trees. Gotta be a bit frugal. Gotta make sure that you're gonna enjoy you gotta make sure you're gonna enjoy what you buy is kind of my mentality currently.
Yeah.
And so if I was to pick up or if I was to purchase Street Fighter 6 in the future when it comes out in 2023, I would probably not care so much about the World Tour mode unless it has some amount of like narrative elements incorporated.
Yeah, unless
into
there's something really cool in it for sure.
Yeah. Otherwise, I would play the game for the on. Also, it has to have good online. That's right. I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
But yeah, Street Fighter V's rollback netcode implementation was how do you call it? Not good.
No, it was pretty bad.
So that's another thing that I am a bit wary of, and like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite also had rollback in it. Probably a similar implementation, but like improved since it was a later game. It was still kind of meh most of the time, and it still wasn't fantastic. But yeah, that's like one aspect of Street Fighter 6. It is more hyper-realistic looking, but I have a couple criticisms regarding certain things, I guess, because it's more like worries, concerns. Don't know if there's, of course, this is like a very early build, and the game isn't releasing until like next year. But that's what people when Street Fighter V was coming out, people would see things happening in early builds, and then the game comes out, and also the game has been out for 6 years now, because I think it dropped in 2016. And those things never really got fixed. So I don't know. It's good to bring them up because you never know if something is just never going to get fixed or something like that. But I don't know. There were some like weird things that I kind of noticed that I kind of feel weren't necessarily present in something like Street Fighter V. Like for one thing, looking at like a lot of the gameplay footage, when I saw the fights happening, my first thought was like, this very much feels like a NetherRealm fighting game camera angle. For some reason, everything feels really flat. in some places when it's like the normal gameplay camera that's just facing forward to see the two characters. There was something about the shot that felt very flat, as if it's really hard. It's really easy to notice
Yeah,
that the characters are.
what I was miffed about is they said at the start that the camera angles were changed to be a trailer, but somehow it was like such a straight-on shot during the fights. I'm like, is this the enhanced version?
That's the thing, is that it didn't. I don't know. I mean, it could be that the characters
Maybe it
aren't
was
supposed
just for
to
the
be.
open world stuff that they were talking about. They embellish.
Maybe, but the thing is that it felt like the game was very zoom. The other thing is that besides the weird camera angle, which is something I'm going to talk about, but something I'll get back to, is that in the trailer there was definitely a feeling that people were thinking like, is this a bit too zoomed in, or is this just for the trailer? And I think it's just for the trailer where things just seem to be really zoomed in, because I'm pretty sure the way it looks, both characters take up like 3/4 of the screen from
Yeah,
the
it's
bottom
like-
to the top.
When they're next to each other, they're just the entire screen.
They are. And if that's the case, then if you jump, the camera might have to zoom out really far. It'll go high enough up so that you can see it. And that made me think, is this game not going to have that much jumping in it?
I don't know.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, I mean, I still hold. I think that Third Strike and Street Fighter 4 are still my favorite looking Street Fighter games. I don't think 6 looks better than 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I mean, I'm also biased because I think Luke is a stupid character,
Oh, yeah. We made,
and
we
I'm
made fun of
spooked
Luke
that
in
he's
past.
still the poster boy.
Yeah.
And it's like he's the last character that came out in 5. They're like, get hyped for 6. Here's Luke, and then no one liked Luke, and then they're like, well, guess what? Now Luke is in 6. Everyone. It's like,
Yeah.
I feel like they could have actually made people excited if he just didn't come to 5 before 6.
Possibly.
The other
All
funny
thing
part is how incredibly good he was in 5. Now, unless
Yeah.
he's like a broken piece of shit, everyone who played Luke in 5 are gonna be like, I hate him now.
Yeah, possibly. The thing is that they definitely tried to use that as like the bridge for Luke. Or sorry, the bridge into 6.
Yeah.
Using Luke, they tried to bridge 5 into 6 to be like, get ready for him and,
Yeah.
get excited.
I mean, I don't know,
And-
in Street Fighter, half of their characters are always recycled every time anyway, so it's like,
True.
I don't feel like they need... Why is Luke there?
I don't know, they
And
could have
there's so
chosen a
many,
cooler
there's so many
protagonist.
United States reps already, too.
There's so many blonde American dudes in Street Fighter that I don't... Why? Why can't we have someone else? I guess it's...
Kimberly
well,
is a USA rep that is not blonde.
apparently. Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. I haven't seen the gameplay footage. She could turn blonde and blue-eyed any second.
Oh, yeah. But she's not the protagonist, and that's the point.
Yeah,
Or
that's true.
is it? I don't know.
I mean, so far, my thoughts on the game are like I have no background in Street Fighter.
You do not, yeah.
I only know Ryu and Ken from Smash
Yeah.
Bros, which is probably
yeah.
not a good.
Those are pretty cool.
Oh man, weren't you
Yeah.
excited to see Ryu
Yeah.
from
I
Ryu from
can't
Smash
believe
in
Ryu
Street Fighter
Smash is gonna
6?
be in a new
I
game.
can't
Ryu's
believe he
own
made it
game.
in. I can't believe he made it into Street Fighter 6.
Yeah,
dude.
that's great.
That's
Yes,
pretty
Jared.
epic. Yeah, but from the first look at this trailer with like no background on any of the previous Street Fighter games, well, first of all, this is just a trailer released like 2 days ago, and it's like 3 minutes long. There's not a lot to go off it. It's meant to be
Oh,
a trailer, so I think it's meant to be like flashy, grab people's attention as well. If it
Mhm.
was like an official gameplay trailer, then I'd say it'd be a better place to judge like how its mechanics look, its camera, and yada yada things
Oh.
like that.
Oh, we need to give you the second bit of information.
Wait, but no. But from what I see so far, the graphic,
Yeah.
I think I actually really like the hyper realistic graphic
Mhm.
and the visual effects they have on a lot of their moves. Like
Oh, I think the
see,
visual effects look great. I agree.
They look
Yeah.
so good. When I don't know if it's like a super or if like a strong hit, but if they manage to get like a strong hit in, there's like a large paint effect that comes out
Yeah.
of them, which I really like. I think it fits the theme because when I think of like a Street Fighter, I think of like it also fits the setting. I see this the shot in the trailer and they're like in some like back alley. I see some like maybe gangs or thugs in the background.
Yeah.
And I immediately think of like graffiti art, spray paint, things like that. So I really like this paint aesthetic they're going for.
Yeah.
And
This
I
is
all
mean,
the
like
first.
It's first time since Third Strike that Street Fighter's been Street. Maybe.
Yeah, it's the first time in over 20 years that Street Fighter has actually been Street. And it does look really cool.
I mean,
And
my
I'm liking the
takeaway,
visual
honestly,
style.
is if they're trying to be more Street, I am, at this point in time, significantly more excited for the OST
Exactly.
than the game.
Yeah. That opening track, I've actually just been like humming it or just like singing parts of it or just reciting parts of it because it's like, God, it's so good. It really does hype you up. You're like, I ain't ever backing down.
Mm.
God, it is a good track.
It's cool.
However, there is a second bit of information. There is actually an entire site dedicated to Street Fighter 6 where you can see more information. They even tell you the new mechanics in it. It's the drive gauge, as they call it.
I also have to give the game props for the mouth movement for when the characters talk. I think it's perfect. It fits almost perfectly. It looks natural for them to be speaking when their
Mhm.
voice lines are playing.
Every time I look at, there's that one part where they're introducing all the characters with their like intro or something like that. Chun-Li's face in some of those shots kind of look a bit uncanny and uncomfortable to me.
It might just be the lighting. Her face is really bright in some of these shots.
Yeah. But it's just her there's something about like when she smiles when she says like are you ready or something. I don't even remember what the line was. But it's just like that intro part where they're showing like Luke, Jamie, Chun-Li, Ryu, and on the Chun-Li one, it just like she's smiling, and it looks like it looks like, you know, one of those uncanny synthetic skin androids that people are trying to make, and it just looks kind of weird to me.
Almost done it.
Are you talking
yeah.
about... I think I found the shot you're talking about. I think it's this one. Let me post it.
Yeah, send it if you can. Yeah, that is kind of it. For some reason, I thought there might have been like a later frame in this where her mouth, the corners of her mouth are even higher because her smile is wider. But that still looks kind of weird to me, is the thing. I get like what they're trying to go for, but yeah. Some things kind of still look a bit rough. Luke is still not interesting to me.
Yeah.
People are like, there's like a thing online I've seen people being all like, wow, Luke looks actually pretty cool in this game. But I think that's because his design in 5 was so lukewarm that like
Luke.
it just okay, yeah. But his design in 5 was just so kind of basic, boring, and lukewarm, haha. That this one just kind of is just better by a mile just by comparison. When in reality, I don't find Luke all that interesting in general. So, I don't know. And then the other thing is that I don't know if this was a part of his bio in 5, but if you look on like the Street Fighter 6 website, they have like little bios of the characters. And because like, you know, the characters have likes and dislikes and their height and weights. And one of Luke's favorite things to do in his time off when he's not doing martial arts classes or as a private military contractor, he's playing PC games. He really likes PC games.
He's a
and
gamer!
He hates horror games. He is a gamer. And it's just kind of an interesting, weird thing to me that is kind of funny.
Mm.
But I guess it's like, you know, I guess he's a modern protagonist. He's got to be a gamer so that people relate to him or something. But,
So,
yeah.
I'm on the website. There is a classic control type.
There is.
I was gonna
The
say, it's
6-button
kind of weird.
classics. What's kind of weird?
There's, I'm reading through the modern control type. And it's weird because there's just, like, less buttons.
There is.
I'm wondering if you could even do all the things.
It looks like you're able to...
Because they're not calling it simplified, they're calling it
They're
modern.
not. They're calling it modern. That is a really weird word to use then.
That
for
gives
me.
me the impression that you could do everything, and it's like, do classic if you're just, like,
It doesn't
used to
look
old
that
Street
way.
Fighter, and I'm like, that's kind of weird.
It doesn't look that way to me.
And it says effective at high level play where where complete control over your character is a must. But I don't see
Yeah.
any way you lose control by doing modern.
Well,
Unless
okay.
some of the moves just aren't there because there's less buttons. Because there's light,
thing is-
medium, heavy instead of the kicks and punches being separate.
Yeah, meaning that you only have access.
You just
have
have like half of your moves or some shit.
Probably you lose half of your normals. It's probably like you lose half of your normals, but you get quick access to special attacks. You get quick access to all of your various mechanics, and also you have an auto combo thing where if you hold down a button and just start pressing one normal button, you just hammer out some kind of auto combo kind of thing. I mean, I'm not gonna play with it if I pick up this game because I don't.
It's like
don't
I don't
need
get,
it, or I don't want it.
I don't get how they're like touting this as such like a feature. Is this
It's
not something that was like in Street Fighter V?
No, Street Fighter V only had the normal.
Oh, for
classic
some reason I thought that this kind of like a style mode or simple mode or whatever they're calling it modern
Stylish
mode now was just has just been around, you know?
Mm,
It's so
not in
weird
Street
that
Fighter.
they're so, and they show it before classic.
That is another weird thing. 'Cause
Like this
people
is
were
the main
worried-
mode, is the simple mode.
You
Well,
watch
the
like
modern mode.
you watch content creators going down this website looking at all the information they have on display for Street Fighter 6, and the first thing the first thing that they fear is that they completely changed the control scheme, and then they scroll down and then they're completely relieved when they see that the 6 buttons are back, or
That's
the 6
funny.
buttons are still there. So yeah. It's probably like you get like but you have like button specials, you have normal attacks, and you have like an auto combo button.
Yeah. Wait, so there's an assist button in modern control, but it's in classic. Is assist just only something in modern?
No. When they say assist, they don't mean like call another character
I'm
on
imagining
screen.
an assist. What does it mean?
It's not. It means that if you hold the assist button down and just start hammering the same normal button, your character will perform an auto.
Oh,
combo.
I see. I thought I could just be like, you know what, Jamie, tag in,
Quick, Jamie, please!
help me.
You didn't even pick me, but I'm here now.
Yeah, all the other board characters in the character select screen, they're waiting for someone to hit that assist button.
That's what I first thought, because when you hear the word assist, you're like, oh, is this like a Marvel game? And you're like, no, it's not. It's supposed to be
It's like this is Street Fighter 6, why is there an assist button?
They really need to work on how they word these things, because modern control type and assist are not good names for these things. I would say like the auto combo or auto assist or auto, I don't know, combo assist. That's what it would be.
Yeah.
Or something like, you would definitely not just call that assist.
Yeah, the other weird thing is like there's control remapping in this game. I'm assuming, like all modern
Probably
games should have.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, like, with the combination of like modern control type and classic control type, it feels like you could just like jury rig a control scheme where you have like instant access to specials, but also with the control. You know what I mean? It's like
I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it's going to be these are
I
the inputs
understand
you
that
have
it might
access
not
to.
be, but looking at modern control presented this way,
Mhm.
it's like it makes me think that it's like they could have just made a mode that has the best of both worlds,
Mhm.
but they just didn't.
Possibly. But I think there's other things they could have just added in a special macro, but the thing is that has existed in a version of Street Fighter before.
Yeah,
Street
because like
Fighter,
it's like what? So I'm looking at the buttons on classic control type.
Mhm.
What's stopping them from like L1 is your grab shortcut, L2 is your special button. They just keep them separate because they don't want to get kicked out of Evo.
That's a possibility because that is like a very, very big thing, is that if you have button specials, then things need to be
because
balanced differently.
It's like I think what really gets me is they just call it like the modern mode. When I think of like modern, it's just like being able to remap your buttons. It's like
Yeah.
in classic mode or whatever, if people are able to, a lot of people will, put drive parry on L1 or throw an L2. It's like,
Yeah.
it's so weird.
That's the thing that's very odd about this wording, is that by calling it modern versus classic, it kind of implies that modern is the way to play, when it really isn't.
And they're so gung-ho about, like, what each button is, and they're showing it off like it's their pristine piece of work, when it's like, if this is a modern game, you could just change it.
You can.
It's like,
but
50% of this webpage is showing me how cool their, like, button layout is. I'm like, why do I care?
I don't. They're trying to appeal to the people, the casual players.
Casual players aren't on the fucking Street Fighter 6 website.
I guess not, but maybe they could. There could have been like, oh, I saw the trailer.
Yeah,
online
they watched the
'cause I got a
trailer,
link
and
there was a
that's
link
it,
to
they
the
wait for the game.
website. I don't know. It's actually, that is true though. They probably wouldn't go any further. They're probably just like, oh, cool, Street Fighter 6 coming out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to pick that up later.
And it's like, what gets me is if they're even trying to appeal to, like, casual people, the most exciting thing, I feel like, is the in-game commentators.
Yeah,
That's fun. And, like,
That
the
is very
designs. It's like, what casual player is like, hell yeah! Modern control type! It's
I
such a
don't know.
weird thing to be excited about.
it is. It's the same thing. Like, it's the same kind of like thing that I very much didn't like when other fighting games are coming out, when they're saying like, oh no, don't worry, this game is simpler to control. Is that I don't agree with that kind of advertising. I don't agree with like, don't worry, the game will be easy, kind of, maybe. It'll be easier, and maybe that'll get people to play.
It's like, what people actually want is large player base so they could actually have real matchmaking, and Street Fighter V already did that. It's really easy for new players to play Street Fighter V and not get trounced, because there's so many people playing Street Fighter V. It's like they already solved the problem.
It's possible, but then, you still hear accounts of people online being all like, I tried to play online and I just got immediately smoked, and I don't want to play anymore. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that was
maybe.
another guy who is brand new at the game, who probably just, like, learned Hadouken and did that the entire match.
That's completely valid. There's like an actual player who did something like that. I think his name was Gandhi or something like that.
Or like
where
the
he had
one
a
person
very-
who learned you can block everything and then just blocks and then grabs.
Yeah, completely valid too. Well, that's the thing though, is that I don't know. They're
It's
trying
like
to
when
make it.
I remember. I don't
easier.
remember who said this, but there's a guy talking about it that I thought was really interesting, where it's like, when at a really, really low level, people lose, it so often feels like they've been smoked, because the way a new player learns things is they don't slowly get better at everything. Most really new players are, like, completely competent at one thing and awful at everything else.
Yeah.
And it's like, the one person who's great at DPing will never lose. The one guy who's great at blocking and then jabbing will never lose, And it's like, some of the skills, when everyone only knows one thing, just wins or beats yours every time. So every time it feels like a trounce,
I guess. But I feel like it's not much that, I mean, with a player base as big as something like Street Fighter, something like that is people who kind of play, I don't know. It's really hard to kind of gauge, but I guess the main thing is that people who are only good at this one thing or something like that are kind of, they come into contact with people who are good at multiple things, and then they feel like they get trounced, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. That seems to be like the general thing that probably happens when people get trounced online and they never pick up the game again.
Yeah, it's also unfortunate because it's just like, a PvP game. And it's like, for some reason, it's almost the only genre where it's acceptable to make the player lose. Like, AAA game development in single-player games is just like, make the player never lose most of the time.
Either that, or give them reasons besides themselves as to why they lost. Even though at the core of every single game, the reason you lost is because you were just worse than the other person, or you made a bad call. It's your fault. The reason you lose in games is it's your fault.
It's like, I
Newsflash,
think about
people.
these single-player first-person shooters, and it's like, I every time you have a companion, and it's like the reason you lost is because the companion didn't get you up.
Yeah. But yeah, it's things like that that really it's okay, well why were you down in the first place? Because it's your fault. It's not like the other person is I mean it could be that the other person is responsible for the why you got down, but still. It's like in a lot of games, I want to argue that most of the time, even though people will make excuses that it wasn't their fault, at the core of every single reason why they lose is it was their fault.
Almost every single online PvP game also is a team game, because then you can just blame your team.
Exactly.
It's the perfect solution.
Yeah. The thing is that with fighting, and the thing is with fighting games, it's really hard to make losing feel less bad because in a 1v1 game, one person has to win, one person has to lose. That's just the nature of the way the game the nature of the game, how the game is played. That it's unavoidable, and I guess it's just essentially just cushioning the blow of losing.
It's like I guess for modern control type, that is really nice for a person who, when they play a fighting game, almost only play single player.
Yeah,
because that does just like let them with less barrier do cool things with their character.
Yeah.
So I think it's great in that context, but in the context of
going on,
it's like they're advertising it like it's
the way to
do it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, their thing is designed for players who want to fight without memorizing and practicing special move button combinations first. It's like there are no detriments.
Yeah. God, the thing. Well, that's like this problem. A similar problem arose when people like saw this control type because in Super Street Fighter 4 3D edition for the 3DS, to accommodate for the fact that you had to use the 3DS as your controller, they used the touchscreen as like essentially hotkeys to do certain moves. You could just press ultra combo by pressing this, do this move by pressing this. The thing is that you run into a lot of problems when you're allowed to do that because now charge characters are essentially unabated by anything. And because
it didn't care about charge. You just tapped a button and
you tap the button, it puts you in the animation. That is how the buttons in 3DS Street Fighter 4 work.
It's beautiful.
So you could literally be like Guile, move forward, Sonic Boom, and then keep moving forward and Sonic Boom again once you're able.
Flash kick, flash kick, flash kick, flash kick, flash kick.
Exactly. There was nothing that was holding you back from having to perform the move. You simply had to touch the little button on screen and bam, you're in a flash kick, or bam, you're in Sonic Boom.
So how do you think charge characters are going to have their special move button?
That is what is worrying, is that will charge characters
because if one, you're allowed to play online with modern control type, and two, it still has the special move button, that'd almost be like a huge advantage for some character types, with charge moves in particular. Yeah. Because is like a Guile who doesn't need charge inputs better than Guile with all of his normals?
That's I don't know. That's the thing.
Or are they going to be cooldowns like Randall?
This is kind of similar to whether if a fighting game should include a dash button or not. Where adding in a dash button fundamentally changes which characters are good or bad, or it makes certain characters way better.
It makes characters easier to perform their stuff with.
Yeah, which makes some characters much better, like Naoto in BlazBlue. I heard that all of his moves get enhanced just by dashing. And if he just had a dash,
Naoto with a dash macro.
Yeah, if he just had a dash,
he's already
he would use it every time.
He'd literally be the best character.
It would definitely get people to play him more if it was easier to do his stuff. But in that case, they would probably have to balance the character around the fact that the dash button exists.
Yeah.
And so they would have to make it less good when he gets his dash cancel specials or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's all a balancing act. And it's something we've discussed at length before, where you can't just make one thing easier and expect everything else to follow suit and everything else will be fine. Because making one thing easier can produce ripples throughout the entire rest of the system. And so you need to add difficulty in other places to accommodate for the fact that now this is just super easy to get. let's see, I don't know, but
Yeah,
that's like
like
that's definitely
Strive
a
made
thing.
blocking easier, and then as a result, it rippled down to like everyone in strike throw.
Yeah, that's how most things are in Strive nowadays. But it's very much like a okay, now you have to you have to actually weigh the options of is having half your normals worth having instant specials if you're a charge character.
Yeah, it's like
'Cause-
part of me thinks this could be wildly entertaining, and like if I did show up, if like I started watching a stream and a player was talking about their great strategy where they're like, I don't know, something random. They're like, yeah, simple mode Zangief, and then it becomes a thing. Like, that actually be cool as shit, but that's like 0% why they're putting modern in the game, you know what I mean?
yeah, but they called it modern. It's got to be the way to
Yeah.
play. Like, why would
It's like,
people?
it's like I'm
why'd you call it
imagining it
modern
like
if you're not supposed to play
like
like that?
choosing choosing your tag in Team Fighters is like, do you play modern or classic with different characters?
Oh yeah, like there's a tier list and it includes both the
it's two
modern
different
and
characters.
classic
It's
versions
like,
of
are
their
you
control
Jamie
scheme.
Classic or Jamie Modern? There's pros and cons to both.
No, modern Jamie's low tier, but classic Jamie's really high.
Yeah.
Or like classic Guile is bottom tier, but modern Guile is
Guile's
number
pretty top
1.
tier. It's like if you're well, I mean the reality of it is it's just not going to be tournament legal. Most
It's
likely.
not. It's
Yeah.
definitely.
But
not.
damn, imagine
It would
that
be so funny
reality.
to see that though. I would totally want to
Or
see a
there'd be
tier
a
list.
joke tournament that'd be the modern mode tournament.
I would want to see that. I would want to see a modern mode tournament, or I would also want to see just the two characters being treated, the same character playing on different control schemes being treated as different characters.
Mhm.
I think that would be super funny to just see classic Jamie versus modern Jamie,
Yeah, it's
or something like that.
gets every anti-air but only has half of their moves.
Yeah, it's like, man, you're really good at playing footsies, but well, the other thing is that you have like baked in combos. I don't even know if you're able to I don't know if you'll be able to even do combos. That's going to make or break the character. Actually, can you do combos besides your auto combos if you're playing modern mode?
Yeah, Guile, flash kick, flash kick, flash kick.
I don't think that's going to work. But I am wondering if like the only combos you're able to do are with the auto combo, because the thing is like Street Fighter is very it's all links, and it's all links and then special cancel.
Yeah, it's like 3 specific moves and then a special, or like the long ones.
So if
It's like if you just don't have those moves, that's probably what's going to make or break a lot of characters on if their
on
modern mode is usable, is if they have moves that link.
modern
I mean,
Jamie
they must have, because they just call it the light, medium, heavy. They must be like, okay, in modern mode we made it so the light goes to the medium to the heavy on every character. They must have like done that right.
Maybe they must have done something like that, but I'm just imagining like some character they choose which. I'm assuming what's going to happen is they're going to have both a standing and a crouching normal on each button, and they just choose which one it is.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that most likely in this modern control type, that everyone's crouching heavy is probably going to be their sweep.
That's probably true, yeah.
However, it'd be really funny if one character becomes really bad because their crouching heavy is not their sweep.
Yeah.
And then they're like, no, I don't know, modern
actually,
Jamie's terrible. He can't knock him down.
Anti-air or their sweep? Because that's
crouching heavy.
Because it's like most characters, heavy kick is their sweep and heavy punch is their anti-air, right? That's
so which one do you choose?
Yeah, which one do they get? Maybe the standing. Maybe it's just standing is the anti-air.
Maybe, but usually that's just like a damage dealer of some kind. Maybe there's some.
Those the heavy only an anti-air or sweep.
That it has. Well, maybe it could be like that, where they both serve a function like that. But then you.
Or is an anti-air just like useless in the context of people using modern control type and they won't like miss it? Because like I played fighting games for a long time before I even registered that anti-airing was an important thing.
Yeah.
Because like for probably like a year of fighting games, it's like I see the opponent jump, I jump. we see what
Mhm.
happens from there, you know?
It's possible that regardless of if you're standing or crouching, and both of them would be crouching normals, it's just that standing would do like your
Hmm.
crouching heavy punch, and then crouching would be your crouching heavy kick. So you'd both have your
Yeah,
anti-air
because every one of these solutions that I'm thinking about, like, makes it almost as complicated as just the original one again. It's like, why wouldn't you just do the original one? Because I'm
Yeah.
thinking, like, oh yeah, if you hold forward and hit heavy, it's your normal one, crouching is your sweep, and then, like, standing neutral is your anti-air. And I'm like, that's almost as complicated as just giving them the old inputs.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't.
It's like, part
I
of me
don't care
wishes
about
they
this
got
control
the
type.
part of me wishes they got all of the light punch, light kick, etc., but also just had the special move button and the assist button, and then it would just be, like, better.
If they had just given you only punches,
No, if they'd
Or-
given you all of your attack buttons, but also
Uh-huh.
just gave you the special move button and the assist button, and wouldn't that just be, like, better?
possibly.
Like, I'm not even caring about balance better.
Yeah.
I mean, like, more
As a-
usable.
Usable, better like controlling experience
Yeah.
on the modern control type. Yeah, I could see that. Where you would have like 6 baked-in combos instead of 3, and then you would just hold the assist button and just mash your certain normal based on whatever combo
Yeah.
you want. The problem actually no, that's not a problem at all. What am I talking about? Problem
Are they just worried
is
about not
relative.
having enough buttons for that on a
Because
controller?
I think the thing is that they also want easy access to all of the various system mechanics as well, which was what all the
Yeah.
shoulders except for the assist
They made
button
every
are.
single shortcut one of those.
Yeah. So I don't know. The other thing is that if you make it more like the classic control type, people will argue that the modern control type would have to be legal in some way or something like that, because it's basically the same thing. The only
Yeah.
difference is that it has a couple macros attached to it instead. So I don't know. Maybe they're trying to make a very specific distinction between the two, so that you can't argue like this one is for tournament and this one can also be used for tournament.
I don't know, it's like, what gets me is Capcom is incredibly tournament-minded. So there's
Yeah.
no way that they made this and, like, I don't think it has any chance of being tournament legal. So they
It
made this
probably
knowing that
doesn't.
it's just going to be banned in tournaments. So
Yeah.
I wonder if they just, like, did it so it's extremely segregated, so it just doesn't interfere with anything.
Yeah, I can see that. That does make sense. But anyway, let's see. Besides Ryu, who is Ryu from Smash, he's pretty.
He's
iconic.
got a beard now.
He's got a beard. He didn't have that in Smash.
Him
man.
and Ken
Wow.
both look homeless.
Wait, I didn't see Ken in the trailer.
No, there was
Yeah,
there
there's
was
a
some
leak.
stuff.
We're referencing
I'm not
a
sure.
leak.
I'm not sure we should be talking about it because it's I don't know. It hasn't been necessarily released yet, but yeah, in
Just
some
pretend
of
it's
those,
real, it's more fun that way.
I guess so. In those leaks, yeah, I don't know. Something happened to Family Man, and I don't. Honestly, when I first saw the design, I don't know what his backstory is, but my fear was that something happened to Eliza and Mel, or Eliza and Mel left him. And I'm very, very afraid because Ken is supposed to be. I don't know. That doesn't really fit what I think would happen to Ken.
Ken is
'cause
not
Ken
supposed to go through a tragedy.
He's not. Ken's a really nice guy. Ken loves his family. Why would he just neglect his family? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
Even
come
in
on,
Street
just
Fighter
give the
V.
tragedy to Guile or some shit.
His favorite things, his likes in Street Fighter V, you see at the bottom when you pick him, it says that he likes his family and pasta.
How could he be a
Meaning-
bad guy? Yeah.
Yeah, he loves his family. He would never. How would he ever end up in a point where he's a hobo or homeless or divorced and also not allowed to see his kid or has to pay child support?
This is getting awfully specific.
Yeah, like why? If this is the way that Ken is going to be in this game, it's not.
They just wanted to make him seem more like an American, so they made him homeless.
Oh my god, he's only like a quarter. He's only like half American.
Why does a guy from Brazil look like a goblin? Who is this?
Oh, you're talking about Blanca?
Blanca.
Yeah, he's part of the original. Is he part of the original 8?
I think
of
he
Street Fighter
was.
2? Yeah, he's one of the original 8 World Warriors.
And they
Lord
just
Warriors.
never did another Brazil rep, even though the only
Yeah.
Brazil rep is literally just like an ogre.
Well, they made other ones in later games. I actually looked up a little bit of it because I was curious. I don't know how. I think I just looked up like Laura Matsuda concept art because I wanted to. No, wait. I was looking up her page because I was looking at like stuff about her and how her relationship with Sean. But there was like a bunch of stuff that was kind of stupid about Laura's design. It said that like Capcom Brazil wanted a Brazil rep that wasn't just a wild stereotype monster man.
That's reasonable.
And so they're like, okay, and they also didn't want, and also Capcom original, I guess, didn't want to have too many Shotos in the game. So Sean was completely just a no-go. So they thought, hey, what if we put his sister in there instead? And that's how Laura was made, and she uses Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And the reason why she has electric powers is because Blanca is also Brazilian and has electric powers.
Yeah, canonically in Capcom land, Brazil just people have electricity powers.
Yeah, Brazilians just have an affinity for electricity.
That's just how it works, I guess.
Yeah. There was other things about her design, though, where, in her design, I don't know, I guess you would call it a gi. It's just her jujitsu uniform. You'll notice that, like, on her back, there's, like, she has, like, black spandex, but in between that, connecting her, like, her pants, she has, like, a green thong-looking thing. And apparently, the black spats were not there in the original design. She was just gonna fight with her entire butt just hanging out. And I'm like, what, really? Like, it doesn't even make any sense. Why would she wear an actual pair of pants with just the butt cut out of it? And it is just so stupid.
Just
Fashion.
Just become the average Japanese fighting game company. It's their comfortable battle uniform.
No, not Blaze Blue, not KOF, not Street Fighter. Why you guys gotta do this? Why?
It's what it's comfortable to fight in,
No, it's
naked.
not. No, it's not. It's not comfortable at all when all your body parts are just shaking out and spilling out of every single thing because you refuse to contain them.
Just
the
their
first
comfortable battle
thing I
uniform.
see when searching up Blanca is that
Yeah.
his Fortnite skin.
Oh,
I can't
Well,
move Blanca
listen,
from
Fortnite,
Fortnite, man,
fuck.
to Street Fighter. Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
that does actually. That reminds me, and that it has to do with another gripe that's been happening in recent years. Is it's happening with so many characters where it's just the character, but they have a quote-unquote glow-up because their default costume is a suit now?
Yeah, the game.
Why is it happening with a bunch of
game
characters? Why is everything like, oh man, the character's so hot now, they're so cool, they're wearing
Blanca,
a suit.
but in a suit.
Literally everyone is wearing a suit. Why is everyone wearing a goddamn suit nowadays? It's not even like the thing is that a suit isn't interesting when everyone is wearing one.
They're just
This
going to
could
a
be
formal
an
business
interesting-
meeting. There's dress code, dude.
It doesn't make any sense. It's just it's also completely unoriginal at this point because everyone's wearing it.
I don't know. It's probably just something that sells well for DLC outfits, honestly.
It's not not DLC outfits, just
their
default
default?
costumes to show that they have grown and changed.
That's just
Like-
how it works, dude. Every person eventually wears a suit every day.
That's really stupid, and it's so uninspired, like, design. It's just a suit. There's nothing interesting about it other than it's a suit, and I hate the fact that people are like, oh man, look at their glow up, they're so hot now.
Get excited
Like-
for the next Guilty Gear game where everyone wears suits.
They're literally all wearing the same thing. It's not cool, it's kind of boring, and I don't like it all that much anymore. Like Cody. I kind of think Cody was the last straw, but Cody, it kind of makes... See, for Cody, it makes sense, though. Cody Travers from Street Fighter, when he showed up in a suit, that was the coolest thing, because, you're used to seeing him in either fight wear in Final Fight or in a prison uniform because he was arrested at the end of, like, one of the final fights.
Well, now
and that's
he
just how
dresses
he fights
nicely.
now. Yeah, because he's the mayor of Metro City now. That's the best thing they could have done for Cody, and it works for Cody. But when everyone is wearing a suit, it's not cool. They probably saw Cody like, oh man, look how much Cody changed. Like, that's what we should do for our characters. No, it worked for Cody. It's not gonna work for your character. Stop doing this. I don't, like, who cares if, like, Geese Howard was wearing a suit? Like, I mean, it's more like he is a person who has worn a suit in the past and now, like, oh, this is his first time putting one on. just characters and suits. Like, there's a time and place, and there's a way you can do it, but I just don't want every single, like, oh, look at the male character being all attractive because now they're in a suit when they weren't in the past. I just don't like that. And just watch. There's gonna be some character in Street Fighter 6 who did not wear a suit in the past.
Yeah, who's the Street Fighter 6 character that's gonna get a suit?
I don't know.
The closest guy I see in a suit is the guy from Russia. Near the bottom right of the leak image.
Stop referencing the leaked image. We shouldn't do that. That's a new character, though. That's not a returning
That's
character.
a new character?
Yeah.
I've got it, Urian's in the suit.
That's what it was. That was the first one that didn't make any. He doesn't need it. He doesn't need it. He looked cool before. Now he just
Street Fighter
looks
6.
uninspired.
Oro's gonna get a suit.
Oro.
It's gonna happen.
Hermit Monk Man is going to be wearing a suit now.
Yeah, he's going to a monk meeting.
No, it's going to be Akuma. Akuma's going to be wearing
Kuma's
a
gonna
suit
get the
now.
suit. That's cool too.
Yeah, he's like, look, I've cleaned up my act, and like, no, I think if they show Akuma in a
Alex is
suit,
gonna get a suit.
I'm not a fan of that either. I kind of hate that.
That's
But no,
pretty terrible.
I hate that just like it'd be dumb. But like I think it'd be funny to watch the discourse happen if they introduce Akuma back into the game and he's just wearing a suit. I think a lot of people would be pissed off and think, all right, they'd think the same thing as me. But it's like, all right, I think this has gone too far. Too many characters in suits. But it's gonna happen when Akuma is put into a suit.
Akuma
It's specifically
wearing a
going to
suit.
be him. Yeah, and they're like, all right, I think
Were you
taking this
wearing
bit
a
too
suit?
far. Is he going to be wearing a suit? Is it too much? Who knows?
Zangief.
Zangief in his suit. I think people. I don't know. I'm not sure if people
I think
care as
Zangief's
much about
actually one of the
Zangief.
more reasonable ones.
He is, but the thing is that like, yeah, because he could be like he could be the in Street Fighter universe version of Vince McMahon.
Oh yeah.
But instead of being the awful person that Vince McMahon is, he can actually be a real hero because Zangief is a heroic person. But also, I don't. If Zangief was in a suit, I think people would still think, "Oh man, he's blown up so much." I don't think people would like go up in arms. I think if they put Akuma in a suit, they'd be all like, "This is ridiculous and this should stop."
I know how that really make people complain. Just put a female character in the suit.
Is that how people complain?
People
'Cause
would
that's
instantly complain.
really because what
Yeah.
girls aren't allowed to wear suits?
True, people do think that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's also really.
They
stupid.
have to be half naked.
No, that is that. Why? Their butt has to be hanging out.
Yeah, it's their comfortable adult uniform. It's unrealistic.
One of the two things has to be one of the two pairs of things has to be hanging out.
Needs to be
The booty or the
exceedingly
badonkus.
skin tight and or not there.
God damn it! I don't. There's a time and place for it. It's just what the. Okay.
Wait, I just looked up Akuma. I thought he was from KOF, not Street Fighter.
Oh. Well, I thought you were gonna say I thought he was from Tekken.
No, I thought he was in KOF. Wasn't he in that one Smash stage for KOF? I keep referencing
No.
Smash because I don't know any of these characters.
Yeah, of course you do. They're all from Smash.
Yeah.
They originated.
They're
from
all
Smash.
originally Smash characters.
Yeah,
I
of
mean,
course,
boy.
of course.
They are, but I'm just wondering if like
Wait, is Akuma Street Fighter or KOF? I can't.
he's Street Fighter.
Yeah,
and
he's
also
from
Tekken.
Street Fighter.
He's also Tekken?
part of the Tekken universe. He's part of the Tekken universe. They shoehorned him in Tekken 6.
What?
Seven,
Wait,
sorry.
Is Street
In
Fighter
Tekken 7.
Is Street Fighter and Tekken in the same universe?
No, they're not. But Akuma
They
is.
just got
What?
put in. There's a couple of fighting game characters that are like in an uncomfortable amount of fighting games. Like, what was his name? Yoshimitsu is in a surprising
Yeah.
amount of fighting games.
He's in Tekken and he's also in Soul Calibur.
Terry's in a surprising amount of fighting games.
Terry is everywhere. Terry's in Smash. Terry is in Fighting EX Layer. Terry's in KOF. Terry is in Fatal Fury and Garo. Mark
I'm
of the
waiting for
Wolves.
Terry to be in Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
Oh, now this is just
Yeah,
confusing.
Terry, no, but no. The thing is that if the leaks are true, Ken has just become Garo Terry. So you don't need Terry if Ken is just gonna be Terry. But yeah, no, Akuma is for sure a Street Fighter character. I don't know which character you're talking about. It looks like him in Tekken, not in Tekken, in KOF though. The KOF stage in Smash.
I thought he was there.
Okay, let's see. Who is here that might look like Akuma?
God, they're all so tiny.
It's gonna be so dumb if you think that it's like, but oh wait, no, I forgot he's playable, and you're talking about Kazuya.
You better not be talking about Chang.
It was like, I thought Kazuya, wasn't it Kazuya's dad that kind of looked like Akuma?
Or is it, it's his name is Heihachi, but also he's in the Tekken stage, he's not in the KOF stage, oh my god, I was right! Wait, did you think that stage for Kazuya was a KOF stage, and you thought
the KOF
Heihachi
stage
in the background?
says King of Fighters in the background.
Yeah. Did you think that Akuma was Heihachi?
Yeah.
I'll actually completely forgive you for that one.
I don't know. Who are these people?
Yeah, well, it's very, very difficult. It's just, fighting games are just a bunch of people wearing gis, and that's about all fighting games are. That's it. There's nothing else.
They're all just angry people who are sufficiently good at punching.
A bunch of angry, muscular old men with crazy hair and ripped up gis, and they just punch each other really hard.
Yeah, man.
The thing is that Heihachi and Akuma did fight in the Tekken 7 story mode, so yeah. If you think Heihachi's Akuma, I don't blame you. They're very, they're similar enough where if you don't have enough knowledge on either one, you'd think one was the other. It's like how literally every fighting game, except for like some, have some version of Ryu.
Yeah, Ryu's in the game.
Yeah. I was like, the character that looks like Ryu, I should say, not just straight up the moveset of Ryu. Like Street Fighter has Ryu. Virtua Fighter has Akira, who just kind of looks like Ryu. I don't know. It's just kind of iconic. Like, oh man, it's a fighting game. If there's a guy in a gi and has a headband,
that's how it works. He's fighting.
Yeah, but yeah. Any closing thoughts on Street Fighter 6 before we wrap up this episode? By the way, we're kind of hit the time limit, so I'm wondering if anyone has anything else to say.
I think I pretty much ranted about all I could think of the entire time.
Yeah.
I honestly understand the story of anime fighting games better than Street Fighter, KOF, or Tekken, or any of the such.
The thing is that I like the stories of anime fighting games a bit more than other fighting game franchises. I think Tekken's story is stupid. I don't know enough about KOF's story, and Street Fighter's is kind of meh.
And like when the story's about like these regular looking people, right? They're like humans. It's not like some fantasy world or like.
But they're powerful.
Yeah, they're just strong. But like
they're real
the
good.
Story doesn't just seem as interesting anymore because they're just humans. Nothing,
okay, does that mean that you can't get into any stories that doesn't just involve normal humans?
Humans are boring.
Humans can be cool.
I see humans all the time.
Okay, argument against that right now. Before we close out the episode, an argument against humans only. JoJo's. Everyone in JoJo is a human or more ordinary.
Yeah, but they get
human.
all these cool stands. We have a monkey.
They're still just human, though.
Hey, there's a monkey.
Orangutan.
Yeah, there's an orangutan.
He's not a monkey.
Hey man, one of the non-human characters, the dog, is my least favorite character.
Oh, you're right, Iggy. You don't like Iggy, huh?
Okay, I don't like Iggy. Fair.
But argument, everyone in there is just ordinary humans.
No, they're ordinary humans, but with amazing, fantastical superpowers.
No, but they're still humans.
Yeah, Blanca's the power of electricity.
Wait, then how? What do you define stands?
Street Fighter has crazy stuff too. Everyone's using ki and ki superpowers, and one guy has, and the Brazilians all can use electricity.
What?
Akuma's a fucking demon.
Yeah, Akuma's a demon. Brazilians have electric powers.
Guile has the power of the military.
Yeah. Everyone in the military can cut stuff with their feet.
That's just how it works, man. That's in basic training.
Yeah, so get involved in the Street Fighter story. Apparently, you might like it because everyone's got crazy superpowers. The American military can cut stuff with their feet. Brazilians can harness the power of lightning, and anyone who's Asian can probably use ki to some extent.
Sure.
Bam! You've been shut down, argued
Sure.
against,
Sure.
destroyed,
Countered.
counter. All right, well that's gonna end this episode. This is great. All right, you can watch and listen to us live every Saturday. Maybe in the past, maybe after this episode, we might actually start doing that. Who knows? I don't know. Saturdays, twitch.tv/ShatterPointGames, starting around like 3 or something. But if you can't make 3 p.m. PST, sorry, I'm kind of, going over this outro because I'm just kind of still riled up over the whole everything that just happened. But it's still, it's no good. It's fine, it's fine. If you can't make no worries, our episodes go up every Monday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on all your favorite podcasting platforms, as well as on YouTube at youtube.com/BreakTimePodcast. You can follow us on Twitter at ShatterPointGS if you want. We're fighting game devs. We're not just people who play them. We are trying to make one as well. But anyway, join us next week when we talk about. I'm going to say something. When we talk about whatever I want to talk about next week, because I'm hijacking the podcast next week too, bitches. But until then,
What?
break time over.
This is tyranny.